Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, am I getting a bit of a? Oh no, maybe not. Maybe I'm okay. Maybe
No feedback.
No, just maybe it's my croaky voice. Anyway, Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is good. Happy Thursday, and welcome to our new little slot on a Thursday night at 6 p.m. with the lovely Lizzi Trimble from Travel Girl About, dedicated travel agent. She's here to book all of our Travel Club members' holidays in the Travel Club. She has over 35 years experience in the travel industry, and she specialises in luxury and specifically experiential travel. So really sort of, going beyond the obvious. And she has been on some incredible adventures across the world, and I am very jealous of some of them. Now, we are going to be doing this little slot every Thursday where we'll be looking at some of Liz's travel experiences, and we'll be dissecting them, and we'll be chatting a little bit about how best to plan them. And tonight we're going to be talking specifically about the Orient Express. Now, I am really, really excited by this particular chat because I have been addicted to the car map for about the last year. Lizzi, have you heard of the car map?
No.
So there is an app that you can download called Calm, and it's
Calm. Sorry, yes. I know what it is. Yeah.
And it's all it's all about it's all about you can download and you can listen to meditations, and they have these sleep stories. And they have these sleep stories, which are supposed to be put on before you go to sleep. And some of them are incredible. And there's a whole series on travel and specifically train journeys. And one of them is on the Orient Express. And aside from the fact that the gentleman who is narrating it has got this incredibly silky voice, the detail that he goes into on this train journey from Venice to London is just absolutely incredible. And when I do manage to get to the end of it, which is not very often because usually I fall asleep halfway through, it's such a great way of not only putting you to sleep, but really giving you a great understanding of what it must actually feel like to be on the Orient Express. And it just sounds like such an incredible experience. So I'm really excited to chat to you a little bit tonight about your experience on your Orient Express, and also have, as a travel agent, excuse me tonight because I'm feeling a bit grotty, I have had an ear infection, but anyway, as a travel agent, how you can go about making sure that our members in the Travel Club, which is currently free to join, get the best experience on the train. So just to start with, I mean, there isn't just one Orient Express journey, is there?
No, there are a number now, and they've actually recently added a few extras as well. The classic and the most memorable one is the one that's obviously in the film Murder on the Orient Express, where they go from London to Istanbul. But most people will probably do either London-Paris or London to Venice. But they've recently added Amsterdam as a very brand new destination. And if you actually go to Istanbul, you can actually stop off in Budapest and Bucharest as well. But what I would say is it is very expensive. It is expensive. It's a real bucket list thing. And a lot of people do it for a very special occasion. Maybe a lot of clients who book it with me are a bit older, and it is has been on their bucket list. So it's not cheap. But it is so incredibly special, and it's from the moment you arrive. Oh, sorry. Do you want me to go on now? Okay.
Yeah, keep going on. Yeah.
Okay. So from the moment you arrive, you're in the film. It really is. They treat you with that royalty, and when there's an air of excitement even when you board the train at Victoria Station. I don't know if anybody's seen it. Occasionally you do get a glimpse of it pulling into Victoria Station. But so it's got its own platform. You go through and into the waiting room, and when you see the train arrive, when it arrives at the station, it's so electric. It's exciting. You go on board, and most people will dress up a little bit as well, even if they're doing a day trip, because they also do day trips as well on the Orient Express from London, where you can go and either have afternoon tea, or you can have dinner as well. So you're just going around, just around England, and even just southern England as well. I should point out that the one that you get on in Victoria is actually the Belmont Pullman. So it's not I'm not going to say it's not the proper Orient Express, because that would be wrong. But a lot of people maybe don't know that if you are doing the Paris one, for example, you'll take the train as far as Folkestone. You get off the train, and then you go on a luxury coach over to the other side, over to France, and then you get on the next train. But anyway, going back to sort of, you get on the train, and as you walk in, it's just stunning. And the decor is absolutely stunning, and the tables will all be set and with the fine crockery and beautiful crystal glasses and things. And yes, you do feel very special, and it is like entering a bygone era. Mm-hmm. It is exactly how it's been since it began, I think, in the 19th century. And sorry, I hope I haven't got that detail wrong. I think it was 19th century it started. Yeah, there's the picture of how the tables are all laid out and everything. And it does just feel something very, very special. And that was a very long-winded response to your reply to your question about where it goes. But so they're the key places anyway. So you can go just little day trips around England. So if you feel like they're not they're affordable for a special occasion, to go and have afternoon tea or to have dinner. That's affordable, I think. You can push the boat out for something like that. You really need to push the boat out if you're going to Paris or beyond. But oh my goodness, what a special treat it is.
And how long, if we take, so let's focus on that original sort of Venice to London trip. How long? How many nights? Is it just one night or 2 nights?
No. So the London to Venice is 2 nights. So it's 2 nights each way. So you can either take it from London down to Venice, or you can take it Venice up to London. You'd normally only go one way, and then you get either an ordinary train back, or you'd fly back. So that's what most people would do. They'd maybe say do London to Venice and then fly back, something like that. So that's 2 nights. And then the London to Istanbul, that's 4 nights, I think. I did write it down before I came on to. No, that's 6 days, the London to Istanbul, because you get the stopovers in Budapest and Bucharest, as I said. So
would you stay in a hotel in Budapest and Bucharest?
Yes, you would absolutely. And I was on the tip of my tongue. The hotel that they use in Venice, and I should know this, but maybe come back to me, but I can't quite remember. But everything's going to be in keeping. So you're going to stay at some really old, Grand Dame kind of hotel, sort of something very, very special again. Yeah.
And in terms of I have only today have I gone onto the Instagram page, the official Instagram of the Orient Express, and I am just like gobsmacked at some of these rooms. This is incredible. Is this actually what you stay in?
It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And the decor is it's impeccable. It really is, and also the staff as well. They are handpicked. Many have been working on the Orient Express for decades, and you get that special old-fashioned service as well. But everything actually on the train is it's just something sight for sore eyes kind of thing. It is a stunning decor. Everything you'd expect, really, and more. We've seen it on the films, or the original film and all the remakes of the films, but they don't even do it justice. Actually, I think all these beautiful mirrors and it's just, and it's all kept up beautifully as well. It's not sort of old in a sort of shabby way. It's everything is he looks old, but it's not actually. A lot of it's not old. It's kept up to scratch.
A bit like Buckingham Palace or something like that.
I don't know. I've never been to Buckingham Palace. I've never been in Buckingham Palace. No, she hasn't invited me yet, actually. But one of these days.
Oh, Liz, how dare you?
I know. But it's not like, it's not like an old.
Eleanor Yardley or
it's not like the landed gentry, sort of, they're living in these amazing places, but it's all in tatters. It's not like that at all.
So what is the dress code then? Is there a dress code? Can you?
There is no jean, absolutely no jeans, and people do tend to dress up a bit. So on a day trip, say you were going for a day trip, I wore a really nice dress with my pearls, all my pearls for the day, and you do get the odd person who dresses up, in the sort of the old-fashioned style as well. If they're really, they're really going for it, kind of thing. You do get people who will dress in the sort of Charleston type. Flapper type.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, you do see
so if you wanted to dress up in proper Charleston, you wouldn't be looked at for, it is acceptable, you wouldn't be stared at.
Not at all. In fact, I think it actually says on the Orient Express website, it says you can't be overdressed for the Orient Express. So yes, you would.
Look at this dress, she looks amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Not out of place, absolutely. And where do you get the opportunity to dress up like that these days? It's nice, actually. And then if you were going, say you were doing, obviously you're not going to be, you take something, that's another thing. You can only take a small bag on the Orient Express. Everybody is able to take a small overnight bag because there just isn't the room really. So you say you were going to be staying in Venice, you would check your suitcase into the guard's van. So, you obviously don't want to step out when you arrive in Venice, in all your finery sort of thing. You take something in your overnight bag that was just a little bit more, for the daytime sort of thing. But yeah, absolutely dress up. Men often go in black tie, and you can just pull out all stops and get your favorite dress that you've never had a chance to wear and definitely wear it, and your pearls.
And do people tend to dress up? I mean, will they get dressed for dinner, or do they?
Yes.
So they'll be like casuals in the day, and then.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you think sort of, if you were doing a daytime, you could, for example, wear some beautiful floaty linen dress during the daytime, and then put your evening dress on. And as you saw from that picture, you could put the whole full length dress with all your jewels and everything, not out of place at all. And it's fun. It's really, if you like doing stuff like that, it's fun. It's fun to do that.
It looks. And tell us about the food. Obviously, you get fed. You don't have to take your own picnic lunch with you.
Oh my goodness. Well, you'd think that being on a train, that maybe it's not going to be that great, but it is absolutely exquisite. I mean, when you board, they'll give you a glass of champagne straight away in a beautiful crystal glass, and then the little hors d'oeuvres will come round, and the meals are just fantastic, just really fantastic. Gourmet meals. I think. Yeah, we got a little. I just remembered now. We got a beautiful menu with our individual names printed on the menu, so it was a real keepsake thing. And we got there was a little tiny little box with one chocolate in it that had the Orient Express insignia on it as well, which I've also kept. So real attention to detail. And
you didn't put any spoons in your handbag, did you, Lizzie?
I didn't, but I bet it happens. Yeah, because all the cutlery will have the Orient Express insignia on it, so I bet some of them do go astray, absolutely. But that's very naughty. We don't do that.
And what about is it child friendly?
No, I wouldn't say at all. I've never heard of a child going on there, and I must admit, I don't think they're allowed. I don't think children are allowed. I would have to double check that. but it's not really somewhere you take a child anyway, because you've got to be very well behaved.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and you just wouldn't, I mean, you can't have kids running up and down the corridors and something, and they would be bored silly as well. So I've got a feeling it's adults only, but sorry, that's something I have never been asked before, and I would have to check.
There's probably an answer there in your response, isn't there? You've never been asked before. We haven't seen a child yet, and
no,
I don't think my children in particular last very long on the Orient.
I really don't think, even if you've got a little Lord Fauntleroy or whatever it is, I don't think you'd take him on something like that. It's just, they'd be bored. They'd be very bored.
And there looks to be some entertainment in the background here on this image.
Yes, so at dinner, you'll have, as you can see, you might have a little bit of live music. So all in keeping with the music from the sort of jazz area, that sort of thing. And I think it's not unheard of for people to get up and have a little dance as well. Yeah.
And how is that on a rocking train when you're? I mean, well, how does it feel, the motion of the train? Is it your standard width, or is it wider, or?
No, I don't think it is wider. And one thing that did surprise me, and I didn't find it very comfortable actually. But on the one that the one goes from Victoria, it's a different sort of gauge from what we would use these days. And so it's a little bit bumpy. It's bumpier than I thought it would be. You feel the tracks kind of thing, but it's all part of the fun anyway. And
hold it for your crystal flute of champagne.
Oh yes, you've got to hold on to that. Absolutely.
She looks very, very, very radiant, doesn't she?
Oh, she does. She does. She looks the part, doesn't she? Bless her. Yes, absolutely. And the staff, you see, the staff are just gorgeous. They're so really handpicked.
Look at him here. He's
yeah.
There's a really interesting mix of age groups here. There's a lot of pictures with quite a lot of, dare I say it, slightly older blue rinses on, and then there's quite a lot of what look to be sort of, millennials in their 20s. Is it sort of a whole different, range of age groups?
Well, I think from my experience, it is more the older generation who'd be taking it because they can afford it. Let's face it. But of course, these days, you've got a lot of younger people who also can splash out, and I dare say they will. I'm not generally asked by younger couples unless they're sort of buying a special present maybe for their parents, to celebrate some special anniversary, something like that. So when I was on the train, it was mainly older people, but not exclusively, I would say.
And what about, are there different room types that you can book?
Yes, there are, and they've got some wonderful new suites as well, which I didn't see. But yes, there are. So I think you've got if you stop there, you've got that in the middle there, you've got that sort of look at the woodwork there, it's just stunning, isn't it? It's just stunning. But there are actually some suites now, which I think are a fairly recent addition. So you don't feel cramped. It's not like being in just a sleeper car. It's much more than that. But of course, they come with a price tag as well, So,
well, what's the sort of the capacity? How many people are able to travel at any one time? Oh wow! Look at this.
No, I have no idea. I wouldn't say a great number of people would be. I wouldn't say they take a great number of people because there's only a finite number of cabins of coaches, so sleeping coaches. So I wouldn't say. I don't know off the top of my head how many, but I wouldn't. And the train, it's not that long. I guess you seem to remember it's probably about 10, 15 cars at most. So there won't be that many.
And this is one of the suites here by the looks of it. The Grand Suite launching in March 2018. So there's 3 private Grand Suites on it. Look at that. That is incredible, isn't it?
It's exquisite, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Beautiful. So does the train actually, when you're sleeping, is it moving?
Oh yes, it will be moving. Yes, absolutely. But you just it's quite soporific, really. The movement of the train. It sort of lulls you to sleep. And I've not actually taken the overnight one, but I do remember when I was in I think it was in my early 20s. I remember taking 30s even. I was taking I took just an ordinary train all the way down from London, well over to Paris, and then down to Budapest. That's right. And I remember how exciting it was. I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. So all through the night, and I heard we were pulling up somewhere. I had to look out the window and see where we were. And it's so exciting. So pulling up in Paris and then maybe Lyon or and beyond, and Venice. I think we went through Venice, and so I couldn't sleep, but I bet you could, especially if you had a few glasses of champagne and a really lovely 5-course meal, and that would probably put you off to sleep, I think.
So if you're on that Venice to London trip, do you actually get off at all, or are you just on that train for 2 days?
Well, from Paris down to Venice, you'd be on the train. You'd be on the train the whole way down. Yes, so you go from London to Folkestone, get off the train there, and then you pick up the other train at the other side.
And is it what's the situation between Folkestone and Calais, wherever you get off? Are you on a ferry, or is it?
You're put onto a luxury coach, and then you'd go on. No, I think these days you'd go on the Eurotunnel now.
Oh, okay.
In the old days, yes, you would have gone on the ferry, but I think these days you would go on the Eurotunnel.
So it's all very seamless. You get on at Victoria Station.
Oh yeah,
and you don't need to worry until you get to the other end.
No.
So
and they have their own sort of check-ins as well. So just like they have the check-in in at Victoria, when you get to Folkestone, you'd be ushered through, to a separate area. You wouldn't
away
go
from the riffraff.
You wouldn't exactly. I wasn't going to say that, but yes. Yes, you wouldn't have to sort of queue with the ordinary passengers.
And I suppose if budget was no object and it was a very special occasion, then once you get to Venice, of course, you want to spend a good three nights in Venice, don't you, really?
3 nights I've just remembered the name of the hotel now. It's the Cipriani they use.
Cipriani, yeah.
Which is a fabulous, fabulous hotel. You don't have to stay there. And that's actually true. When I would create a package, so you've got the Orient Express, and then when you get to let's say it's Venice or Paris, you then do have a choice of hotels. So if money is no object, then I'd put somebody in the Cipriani, but you could equally you could stay at another hotel as well. So depends how price conscious you are.
And you obviously, as an independent travel agent, have access to a whole huge plethora of hotels, don't you? You're not just restricted like tour operators are.
No. In fact, sky's the limit, really. I mean, just look at Paris. They have some of the most amazing hotels, Le Bristol, and I could just Georges Cinq and everything. I mean, you could just pick any number of hotels, and as an independent travel agent, you can stay wherever you like, and if you don't know where to stay, I can suggest where you might stay. Same with Venice, we're not just limited to the Cipriani. There are so many wonderful hotels in Venice as well, and and beyond, and Istanbul. There are wonderful hotels in Istanbul as well. So it's really, I think we might have spoken about this before, but in case anybody hasn't been watching the other ones, why not? But the beauty about booking through a travel agent is that it's completely tailor-made. So I'm going to ask you when you make an inquiry with me, what's your budget? Do you have an idea of your budget? You might have no idea of your budget, but you might have a rough idea. And I would then try to work within that budget for you. So I would then put together the best possible package within that budget for you. And if it went a little bit over, maybe you might say, oh, I'll just, I'll go for it. I'll just splash out there, just find that little bit more. But you might say, no, Liz, no, I can't go over that. And that's fair enough. I can tailor it so that it's exactly what you want. And I'm never going to encourage you either to spend more than you want to spend.
And you, of course, as a travel agent, you don't pay any more booking the Orient Express and packaging up with hotels than...
No, not at all. Not at all. And as an agent, I do actually a couple of times a year, just to mention the Orient Express again, a couple of times a year, they do a special offer, which I learn about. They send me their special offers. So they have a couple of times a year, they'll discount it slightly. So I'll have access to all those special fares, and as usual, at the hotels as well. As an agent, I have access to special rates at the hotels, even the best hotels. I got special rates. So you're not going to end up spending any more than if you went direct. If you went direct to the Orient Express, for example, and tried to put it all together, because they do. The Orient Express will package it up. They will do a package for you with the train and the hotel and all that sort of thing. You could do that, but then you wouldn't be giving this wonderful donation to charity that you would if you choose to book through charitable travel and go about. So I assume
just about to mention that, and I suppose the final question is, brace yourselves. What are we looking at cost-wise to go on the Orient Express with a couple of days in Venice thrown in?
Well, you're looking at just a smidgen under 3,000 each way for the London to Venice, and then you'll have your hotel in Venice and the return flight back. If you're going to fly back, most people would fly back or do it the other way, fly down and take the train back. So, but some journeys are more expensive. It depends on the time of year, but I think you're going to have to budget about just under 3,000 per person before we start adding any extras. So it's for a very special occasion. It's not some, and especially so that's why it also makes it worthwhile if you're going to do the Orient Express. You could just go down and spend a couple of nights and come straight back again, but that makes it a fairly expensive short break.
Yeah.
So, it's worth thinking about, well, shall I extend my stay in Venice? Yeah. Or maybe, do a couple of nights in Paris as well, just to make, just to spread. So you've had 5-6 nights, and then it doesn't seem so bad.
Can you do that? Can you stop in Paris, get off the train, go and stay in Paris for a couple of nights, get back on and go back down to Venice?
It could be arranged, but whether or not the train, whether or not you'd be able to, you'd have to plan it well in advance. So, to make sure there was availability.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's what travel agents are for, aren't they? To help us.
Yes. Because I should mention that, it doesn't go every day or anything. There are only certain dates. So now it would be actually quite difficult, now I think about it too. But if you were, say you'd taken the train down to Venice, you had a few days in Venice, and then you took an ordinary train up to Paris, then you could break the journey and spend a few days in Paris, and and carry on, come back on the Eurostar.
Yeah.
So that would be the way to do it. And of course, you could do that the other way as well. You could just take the Eurostar to Paris, have a few days there, and then catch the train from Paris down to... I would have to check my facts there, actually, whether you can actually board the Orient... You must be able to board the Orient Express in Paris. Of course you can, because otherwise that would exclude all the Parisians, wouldn't it? They couldn't take it. So it does stop in Paris, of course.
No, Parisians, you must go down to Italy to catch. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, of course it does. Yeah, I'm being silly. Yes, absolutely.
But what you are proving is this could be quite a complex holiday, and having somebody such as yourself to be able to help plan it and having the right contacts will make it less a logistical nightmare.
Yes, if you want to do the bog standard, absolutely you can. Well, it's never going to be bog standard, but I mean, if you want to do the set journey, so get on the train at Victoria and go down to Venice and fly back, which you can do perfectly well through Orient Express, but without giving the donation to charitable travel. But if you wanted to do that, fine, you can do it. But if you want to tailor make it a bit, then it's much easier to come to me and just package it up. Do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, whatever you fancy.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lizzi. That was fabulous. And just to come, if you are watching this on replay and you do have any questions about the Orient Express, then please put them in the comments.
Could I just add one tiny thing?
Of course, go for it.
Let's not forget that if you're into vintage trains and this wonderful experience, that there are others that you could do. There's the Al Andalus in Spain. And there's the Blue Train in South Africa. There's the Garn in Australia. There's the Rocky Mountaineer, of course, in Canada.
Yeah. The Trans-Siberian Express, that looks amazing.
Trans-Siberian Express. I had some clients do that. They said it was out of this world. It was just, Dr. Zhivago kind of thing. That's a long journey, though.
Yeah.
And of course, the wonderful trains in India as well, the Maharaja Express as well. So if you like vintage trains and that whole experience, there's a whole world of possibilities.
Well, maybe we'll chat about another train journey, because I'd love to hear about a couple more of these in another session. I'd love to know more about those Indian trains. They sound incredible. Okay, Lizzi, thank you so much. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll chat about another holiday destination, and hopefully, I don't think any of us know really what's going on right now, do we, in the world of travel? I don't think the government knows. I don't think anybody knows. So let's hope for more clarity soon. It's crazy out there.
Soon. Let's all be patient. It's all going to hopefully be clarified within the next few weeks. So.
Absolutely.
Lizzi, I certainly wouldn't go on a train right now, would you?
Would I get on a train right now? Is that the question?
I mean, I wouldn't go on the Orient. I don't suppose it's running. I wouldn't go on. Actually, I did notice that the one in June, the next departure on the 21st of June, is sold out.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So, but I think
something I would go on this year, but I would definitely be saving up to go on it next year.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's a real treat.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Lizzi, thank you so much. We will see you again next Thursday, when we will chat live about another holiday destination and how best to plan it with our dedicated travel agent, Lizzi from Charitable Travel. Thank you, Lizzi. Thanks, everybody. Bye.